Good choice. Yeah. Oh. Hmm. You go to class? I'm doing home. My class is at 12:55 in the morning, huh? The mid morning. Are you off 4 days of class? Huh? You have 4 days of class or no? Yeah.
I'm here for 3.7. Okay, I'm Mindy. Hi, everybody. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. What's your name?
Anaí?
Annie?
Yeah, Anaí.
Annie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll practice that.
A lot.
A lot. Fatima, how are you? Oh, you didn't go, did you go down to my office looking for me?
Yeah, I want.
There was a group in there, so I know these, but we'll find time to connect. Hopefully, I will answer everybody's questions during class. So that's my goal.
You guys see for our ECED, whatever, the meeting class, that she, opened it so late. I was able to. I was like, I kept checking like the day after and then I was like, yeah, I think Sunday, because I checked Sunday and I was trying to do it, but then I got stuck on the what is my superpower? And like, I don't know what it's supposed to. Yeah. Yeah, because the last question, she's like, what is your superpower? And I'm like, what the heck? I was like, I don't know what my superpower is. Well, I haven't even since then. Yeah. I haven't looked it up. Um,
Forget we're back. Why not?
so, tell me about it. When do you guys go to your, clinical?
I mean, I'm already working.
Um,
Did you start it already?
I didn't know, like, how to start, like you said. I didn't know, you're supposed to log it, right? Yeah.
Look it up.
Yeah, I believe it'd be the first class. Yeah, so I could start after. I did email my teacher and he's like, oh, yeah, before break. And he was like, oh, when are you gonna come in? And I'm like, after my first time. I was like, yeah, after my first time, I haven't gotten the
Well,
So.
anything else, a couple of minutes. Let's see, you're all here. After they were pulling out like what they need to go. So, yeah, windy, I guess. Hi, everybody. Welcome. ECED 327A, infant, toddler, and preschool clinical experiences, and I am Mindy Schreier. I'm your instructor. So we're still waiting for a couple of people. While we're waiting, I've got some markers up here. I've got some construction paper up here. If you can all make a name tent, I'll show you how I do it. I'll take a piece of paper and fold it in half like this. And then I open it up, the things in the middle, and I fold each piece toward the middle. So, and the reason for this, it looks like a tent. See how, and then it can stand up like that. Like that, pretty much. Okay. So come on up, get a piece of paper, get a marker or two, and put on there the name you want us to refer to you as, and you can put down your pronouns too if you like. Make sure some of those markers might be old, so make sure they work. And I've got snacks up here, so you're welcome to. I try to bring snacks almost every time we meet. You're welcome to have a snack or two. Make sure those markers work. Help yourself. Yeah, here's the apple. The wrinkles look clean. Sure. But does everyone in here, do you all know each other already?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the new one. Okay. All right, well, I first probably, hi, welcome. Come on in, settle in. And once you're settled in, if you want to come up and get a piece of paper or piece of, to make a name tag, you can put your name on there, what you want us to refer to you as. And if you want to put your pronouns on there, you can. We know each other, you know, this it's the visual seconds. We want to live another with it. Here you go. Here one. So I would love, well, I can tell you a little bit about myself to warm us up. And then if you could just introduce yourselves to the rest of us, or at least to me, because you all know each other already. And anything you want to share about yourself. It can be related to school, it can be related to early childhood education. It can be some awesome vacation that you just went on over winter break. So I'm Mindy Schreier, and call me Mindy, you can call me Professor Mindy, whatever you are comfortable with. This is my 5th year here at Northeastern. Prior to doing this, I was a director of a child care center, actually 2 separate programs for many years. So I have worked with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. I was also overseeing a before and after school child care. So I did that for a lot of years as a director of a child care center. I taught toddlers, I taught preschoolers, sometimes, well, for about a year. At one point in my job, I had to make lunch every day at the center. So I've done all those duties in a child care center. And then this last, probably about 10 years, I was working for a nonprofit organization in Chicago where we traveled all over Illinois and we went to a few different states across the country where I was coaching early childhood teachers, principals, and superintendents. So sometimes I was working with teachers and directors in child care centers. Other times I was working with teachers and principals in public schools, some private schools too. So that's a lot of what I've done. I also teach early childhood at Oakton College. I've been there for about 20 years. So, that was always my night job. I had my day job doing my director work, and then at night I would teach at Oakton. I still teach at Oakton, but I'm teaching asynchronous courses. In my career, especially the last 10 years, I was an infant toddler specialist and preschool specialist with my coaching and teaching that I did of people working in the field. What else can I tell you? I'm married. I live in Skokie. I have 2 adult sons, and one of them got married over a little. I don't know if I put the picture on E2L or not. But my older son got married a little over a year ago. As we're talking throughout the semester about early childhood education, you'll probably hear some stories about my kids. They would not want me to say, and stories from my work experience. I feel very fortunate that I have had this work experience in the field, and that I can share that with all of you. And B, that I don't work in the field anymore. I'm really excited to go into the programs, schools, and centers that all of you are in and visit you post-class. So that's enough about me for the moment. I'm hoping, do you have a lot of questions about this course and about the clinical experience? Yes. My goal is to answer all your questions tonight so that you're feeling like you have a really good handle on things when we're done today, and that you know what to expect moving forward, and that I'm here to support you. So, like I said, if you can just share your name. I do take notes in class, so pardon me for taking my notes. And anything you want to share with us about yourself at all, anything at all. So who would like to start? Try not to make eye. Okay, thank you, Andrew.
I'm Nancy, pronouns her. I guess some fun fact is about me. I have a daughter. I grew up, well, not grew up, but I lived in Skokie, my parents still.
Oh, really?
And I went to Oakton.
Oh, you did? Oh, you did. Okay, where do your parents live?
On Skokie Boulevard.
Okay.
Yeah, like right home.
Okay, and when did you go to Oakton?
Like 2012. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, good. Well, nice to meet you. Okay, is it all right if we just go around? Okay.
My name is Tasia. I'm a young service teacher. I currently work at the I'll be with my upstairs.
Okay, so you have a very different experience. And how long have you been working at the Montessori?
I started December last.
Okay. So maybe it'll be interesting as everybody here is doing their clinical experience in preschool with your work experience, that you'll be able to do some comparing and contrast of philosophy and routines. At what age group? Do you have like 2 to 5 year olds in a room? Is it combined ages? Okay. Great. Nice to meet you. Okay.
Actually, that's
Tesla, yeah. Where, what's one? Oh, here? Okay.
so that's
Yeah, I've never been to that. Oh, you do? A 10-month-old and a 10-year-old. Well, good. When we talk about infants and infant development, you can share with us about your boy or girl. Thank you. Take my notes. Okay.
I'm born on Tuesday. Thursday. And I'm my first.
Okay, where, so you work there?
I work
Okay, what age group do you work with? Also, sorry, 3 to 5, is that the room you'll be doing your clinical experience in, or is it different?
no,
Same age group?
Yeah.
Oh. Congratulations. On it. Okay. How long have you worked at that center? Okay, oh, very nice. Okay. You're getting married. That's very exciting. Congratulations. All right, writing down all these important miles.
Hi, I'm Diana, pronouns she, her, and I'm also here at elementary school.
Right.
The thing about me, I've been a nanny for the same family for about 3-4 years now.
How old are the children?
Now they are 4, 6.
Oh, okay, busy. Cool. Right, so you're up. That's the important was always. I believe it's mine. It is yours, sorry. Okay, so you'll be a beard too. Okay, and are you still nannying for those 3 children?
Yeah.
That's great, that's great. Give you some time to settle in. Okay, Julia?
My name's Julia, I'm a pronouns she, her. I'm doing my clinical experience where I work. I'm a school teacher at Untitled Chapter, somewhere in Glenview.
I've been there many times.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll be doing it there in one of my coworkers' classrooms. The room is a 3 to 4 year old.
Okay. What's your coworker's name?
Teresa.
What age group do you normally work with there?
My classroom is 4 and 5.
Okay.
So this one's gonna be 3.
Okay, so you're gonna put the younger preschool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't know if I have 2 dogs, 15 Jackson, and everyone in my family that lives in my house starts with the letter J.
Really? Okay. All right, so what are everybody's names?
My mom and dad is Jennifer and Joseph, and my older brother is Jonathan. I'm Julia, and my sister's Jacqueline, and then my 2 dogs are Gypsy with a J, Jackson.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I have, years ago, many years ago, the director, maybe you know her name, Ellen Fager was the director.
Well, she was before I worked there.
Yeah, right, I know.
My grandma worked with her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she and I were in a director's group together. So back then I had been at Wesley a few times, and I had some students at Open.
Yeah.
That I observed at Wesley, and last semester I had one of the teachers, somebody whose classroom I was in was one of my students at Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of staff.
Yeah, Yeah, that's great. I'm excited to go back there. So thank you, Julia. That's funny. You have Gypsy for the day.
Yeah. My name's Anae. I go by Sheeper. I'm doing my clinical at Denver. So, I've never really had much experience in actual classroom. I did nanny before, like 2 years ago. And now I'm just, I have two nieces. That's fun fact. I watch over them a lot. One of them is in kindergarten, so I do drop her off and pick her up.
Okay.
And then the other one is she is 3 years old, and I do watch her every day when mom's at work. And
Oh, you do?
yeah, so I guess that's my nanny now. But we've been working on a lot of new skills like building. We do a lot of color, just hands-on activities.
Right. Well, I bet from this class and other classes you're taking this semester, you'll get some ideas to do with your nieces. And you know, you said you don't have much experience. That's why you have this plan. You know, so you've got this clinical, then you're, of course, your next one, which will be more hours in the classroom in a kindergarten, first or second grade classroom, and then of course, student teaching. So that's how it should be. So nothing to worry about with that. You know, we're all learning, you know, and I think as everybody will find, you know, you may have an idea in your head of what you want to do in the classroom with these children, and then you go to do it, and it looks a little bit different. And that's okay, yeah, right, yes.
Hi, my name is Mandy. I have three little brothers. One's a senior in high school. One's a seventh grader, and one's a fourth grader.
Wow.
And I'm working at the daycare on campus right now, and I'm doing my clinical in the oldest classroom on campus.
Oh, so you work at the Northeast?
Yeah, I'm
Okay, and you're gonna be with Heather.
Yeah, I'm with I usually work with Miss Kathy.
Okay.
Yeah, in the toddler classroom. I'll be in her Miss
Her
Heather's.
classroom for the clinical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Hi, Justine.
I got my Sheeper. I work at Fort Park Elementary. I work in
Okay, oh, wow. Okay, great. And where are you doing your clinical?
I got my preschool clinical leave.
Sorry. You know, I have like names and faces and all the, and you know, Dr. Maldonado, you two are friends. Yes, she's on. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, I think that's awesome. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, now everyone, thank you for doing it. I really appreciate it. And I'll make all the connections. I need a little time. All right, so what I'd like for all of you to do now, if we can just maybe let's just do groups of 3. So maybe the 3 of you, and then the 3 of you. This isn't, you all know each other, it sounds like, but this is a chance for you to talk with each other. What are you most excited about with this course? Hopefully there is something that you're most excited about. What do you want to know about the course? What do you already know? What other questions do you have? Because as I said already, I'll say it again. My goal is to answer questions. I don't know if, you know, if there's any feelings of nervousness or anything for the clinical experience, but however you're feeling right now, if you're feeling a little bit nervous or a little anxiety, by the time we're done today, my goal is to bring that down. Okay, so go ahead and get your groups. What are you most excited about? What do you know about this course? What do you want to know? And what other questions do you have? So please be sure to share some questions with me so I can answer. I'll give you about 7 minutes. Thank you, Justin.
Where do you start? I don't know, it's always fun connecting.
The environment is what? It's pretty deep in that. So I can say that in the thought. So I was it's in my head. So yeah. I just like the actual class. The actual.
My first time. My actual kids, sorry, wait.
It's like, where you're like, oh, you treat them, yeah. You're just like.
I think like the.
For your.
Assignments. But I'm just really, what do I know?
Yeah.
Let's just start. I just. Yeah. And then it seems like.
Oh, yeah, like.
No, they're like fast.
Oh, it is fine, I guess.
Yeah. I think for now, my actually will connect. But I'm really looking at stuff. This is the start of it because a bunch of kids are probably gonna be like, oh, you know, like the weekend that ending the week. So, and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out right now. My brother was throughout. One of the guys. You know, the question, and then the other one, no, it's, yeah, so she's, we're just trying to figure out things for her and just remember because it's 3 hours. And like, I was talking for free, so. My mom, she lives in the suburbs, so I don't think, conversation and then. So sexy. She's not friendly. Yeah. It's. I'm like, what is it here? It's like, oh. Yeah, that's why. Hey, like, am I supposed to sit down and it's like, so that's so. Yeah, like you guys like, I was like, I got it, so I, you know, yeah. Yeah, and he's like, okay, like, that's fine, so. What are you doing? That's a walk. Yeah. And I thought, shit, but Josh used to right? Yeah. But then I just, I mean, it's. Yeah, like, first it's like. The second grade, second grade, you know. And then. Yeah.
Elementary school, like, it was second grade, and then I had to do a few more hours of kindergarten.
Yeah, I don't know.
That is in the summer, but it started in the spring. Yeah, I started in April or like.
I just look at things, yeah. But the email website.
Yeah, maybe about one more minute. Some questions.
Like when I go to the for like statement like. Oh, we just walk in the building and like. Well, that's gonna be.
That April. And then like those people, the other staff member would have asked, why you can't also have
Yeah. All right, 30 seconds.
I did that, but the whole time was what?
I do that too.
Whatever.
Yeah, she's a 3-year-old. Okay, please come back together. I won't go group by group. I'm just gonna kind of let you popcorn out. So who would like to share? What are you most excited? Yes. Julia.
I like connecting my education to like real experience. It's like.
One of my favorite
Yeah.
things.
Like when you talk about like brain development and like different things like why kids talk this way and then you go to work or clinical and you're like, oh, like I know why you're doing that.
Yeah, it all connects. The dots are, yeah. You know what? I was just in Lindsay Maldonado's office and we were talking about that. And we were talking about, there's some activities we do in class that help you make those connections to real life experiences. When I have taught child development at Oakton, mostly, I've said to my students, I don't care if you memorize the names of Piaget stages or Erickson. I want you to be able to understand it, get it, and take it to the classroom. Apply it. So yeah, Julia, love that, love that. Anyone else? What you're excited about?
I was just thinking about like the different settings and like in more experience. I think like I
Yeah.
had like a side of how I understand from kids and like obviously in class we learn about it. but I
Yes.
think what piggyback on what you said, I was thinking that's exciting to actually get more experience and in the class.
Right, and whether you have experience or not, it's always interesting to see another teacher in a classroom, because I think you'll find many similarities and you'll find some subtle and not so subtle differences. And again, taking all this knowledge that you have in your head and putting it into practice. Okay. All right, what do you know about this course already? And then I'm going to write down what your questions are. What do you know? You could say nothing. Yeah. 100 hours total, right, which I'll talk about that in more detail. Anything else, what you know? All right, what questions do you? Yes.
Their maximum number of so I suppose what we thought that we have 3 hours in your science class, but if you're there, minimum.
Yeah. All right, so minimum and maximum number of hours in the class. Yeah, and I'll talk about that. I've got it in my PowerPoint. I'll talk about that in detail. That's a really good question. That's a really important. Other questions?
I asked them if
Stop with. Stop with.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like twice.
Yeah, all right, yeah, we'll talk about that too, but yes, it is twice. And we'll talk about that too. Because in the other section of this course, a couple students were asking, well, what do we do? What do we do with this? So we'll talk about that. Other questions? Yeah,
I'm gonna do it at the daycare on campus.
right.
And then their lunch break is like toward the end of my time there, so like, I know you usually don't have the little lunch time.
You make the lunchtime with the kids?
Yeah.
So they in the classroom?
Yeah, they're in the classroom with the teacher. I'll be there with
Right,
Miss Heather.
right.
I left her.
Would that count? Is that what you're asking me?
But I still count those for my hours because
It
it's
depends.
kind of,
It depends. But let me talk about the hours, for everybody, and then we'll see if that makes sense for you. How's that sound? Mary?
yeah, okay.
Okay, Diana, did I see your hand?
Yeah, I was just kind of confused on exactly what the what we're supposed to do while we're there.
Okay.
I know that some of it's like the sense part, but.
Yeah.
Like what?
Right. What to do. Okay. Yes, we will talk about that. Other questions? Yeah.
For our lesson plans, we kind of have to go over math, what kids are already learning.
So yeah, that's a good question. Let me just say something about that right now. Lesson plan. It should align with what they're doing. For those of you at Chicago Public Schools, they are likely following creative curriculum. Okay, and if you're, if you're not familiar with that, don't worry about it. Don't worry. So, for example, in the fall, and many of the CPS schools that I was at, one of the studies in creative curriculum was a tree study. So, if I observed, which I did during the week or weeks that they were doing the tree study, the students came up with her own lesson that aligned with the tree study or the pet study. Wesley, Northeastern's Child Care Center, other places like that. They may follow a certain curriculum or they may not. I don't know. Do they do that at Wesley?
No, we're
They
gonna
don't
get into that now, but
Okay,
not really.
okay. All right, and Northeastern too. I don't think they do.
I don't really see their lesson plan,
Okay.
even for the toddler class, I don't see it. It's mainly free play.
Okay.
We have a lesson plan that like an outline of a
Sure.
lesson plan that we all kind of like have the same like outline.
Okay. Right. So different programs do it in different ways, Chicago Public Schools, I think pretty much they all follow a certain, they have their own spin on it. They follow their own curriculum. So what, and I think I have it on the PowerPoint. I believe I blocked out a 2-week, it's too early for you to even think about this right now, but I blocked out a 2-week period before our spring break here at Northeastern for the observation. So once we, you'll know I'll be seeing you this week or that week. Of course, we will make an appointment. I do not come in to surprise you. Not, it's not my job to surprise you. Once you know when I'm coming, and we can schedule those sooner than later, you can talk to your cooperating teacher about it. Say, all right, my instructor's coming on March 3rd, just making that up, and, what will you be doing? And then you'll go from there. Sometimes teachers have said to students, oh, okay, that week here, do this lesson. They'll give you a lesson to do. I'm okay, you still need to put your own spin on it, make it hands-on, make it engaging. For those of you in Dr. Maldonado's classes, you will often hear her say this, you will often hear me say this. We do not like worksheets. We did not like worksheets. Yes, a big shake of the head. So, I'll just go there for a moment right now. Have any of my students been in a position where the teacher has said, here, do this worksheet? Yes. Yes. So what I have tried to get, and it usually works out, tried to get the student to do the worksheet if your teacher wants you to. And what else can you do? Or how can you use that worksheet to make it a little bit more interactive? One student, I forget what it was, I think it was shapes, children were identifying shapes in the classroom, and the teacher gave her a worksheet. And what she did, she put like large shapes on the ground. And, step on the, blue triangle, or so she made it a little bit more engaging. I do convey that to the teachers. Again, there's a couple of things I can say. One is, first thing, is to give each of you as much practice as possible. So even though you only have to do 2 lesson plans officially for the teacher to observe, for me to observe, for you to write and implement, the more practice you have, the better. Large groups, small groups, individual children, the more practice you have, the better. And I do gently tell the teachers that I prefer worksheets. Because it's not relevant to the appropriate. For preschoolers, we want them to have hands-on activity. But we'll talk more about those lessons too. Other questions? Yeah.
The time sheets or logs of that all.
Yeah, it's all online. It's all on the app. I'll tell you what's in too. I don't know if I have all this in my slides, but I'll tell you. So that's in Watermark, and we'll talk about Watermark. Anyone familiar with Watermark? Yeah, okay. It's okay. It's all right. The system they used before Watermark was horrible. So this is much, it's more user friendly. It's not always that intuitive, but I'll go over that. So good question. Other questions? And if you know what, if you come up with questions as I'm sharing some information with you, jump in. Before we go on, I just want to say something about breaks. Feel free to take a break during our class anytime you want. Feel free, if you need to just stretch your legs or use the washroom, come on up and have a snack, whatever you need. Typically, what I do when we meet in class is I talk, but you don't want to hear me talk 3 hours. So I talk for a bit, and then I put you in groups to work on whatever you're working on. That's always a good time to take a break on your own. But I won't, unless you all feel a need for it, you can let me know. I won't give an official break time, but please take a break anytime you need. And for today, and I will always start on time. I will always end on time, which means I will never keep you late. I will never, ever. I respect your time and that work-life balance too much. And okay, like today, you might get out literally. Once we go through it, my battery is low. Let me plug it here. Okay, so I'm going to go over a bunch of expectations: class safety, assignments, clinicals, major class assignments, and all that kind of good stuff. So the format of our class. Hold on, let me plug this in. We are going to have. This is designed as a hybrid class. And what I mean by that, now, with being that this is our first class together, this is not the first week at Northeastern. It's a little confusing because last Monday was a holiday. This is our first class together. We will meet, obviously we're here today. We'll meet again next Monday. So that will be 2 weeks in a row. So it's really weeks. No, I'm going to get weeks 2 and 3, but for us, it's really modules 1 and 2, if that makes sense. After that, the class will be hybrid. So what that means is pretty much, what did I say? So weeks 2 and 3, that's this week and next week, we're in person, starting with week 4, because our weeks and our modules are different. So really the even weeks moving forward, it could change, but the even weeks moving forward, we're not going to meet. So you'll be working on your own. It might be doing an online training. It might be working with a partner on an infant lesson plan, even though I am going to give you some time in class. But the weeks that we don't meet, you'll be working independently. Okay. I will remind you at the end of every class, we're meeting next week or we're not meeting, whatever it is, I will put announcements in D2L to further remind you. And there is a schedule. There is a tentative schedule in D2L for you to look at. But I will remind you, it could change. Who knows? You know, like if the weather was treacherous today, like it was last Tuesday, we would still meet, but we'd meet on Zoom. Okay. And I don't know if any of you, I know students in my other class signed up for the Northeastern alerts. Sign up for it because last Monday, even though it was a holiday, I got a text from Northeastern saying that the campus was closed on Tuesday. So if you go, I think on the homepage of Northeastern, I recommend you sign up because, you know, if there's any activity on campus we need to be aware about, if there's closings, anything like that, you'll find out about it. I will, if we're ever not going to meet in person for any reason, I'll, you know, email you and put announcements out. Oh, this is actually wrong. At this time we are, see, I'm already mixing myself up. All right, so next week, that's wrong. Next week we are going to meet. But we're meeting 2 weeks in a row to start. So I'll remind you. But don't worry. So as I said, we're going to start and end on time. We are going to practice using people first language, asset-based language. So what that means is when you're talking about a child, an adult, you will talk about the person first. So for example, you might say the child who has autism, as opposed to saying the autistic child. Okay, so it's always going to be the person first. I really value open communication. Reach out to me anytime. You can email me if we ever need to meet about anything. I'm happy to do that. I'm pretty good about responding to emails quickly, maybe not on the week, depending on what I'm doing on the week. But I'm, you know, I try really hard to be very responsive in emails. I'm glad you're nodding and agreeing with me on that. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. And I will, I don't know if I put it anywhere, I will also give you my cell phone number because you can text me too. I would recommend texting over calling. You know, you never know what I'll be, you know, where I'm working or if I'm in a meeting. And for example, when I'm going to come out to do the observation, you ask that you confirm with me 24 hours in advance. A quick text is all you need. If you want to email, you can email. If it's a Monday night in class and I'm going to see you in your clinical setting on Tuesday, you can put 3. Okay, so these are some norms that I come up with and I try to, I work to abide to and need all of your help with it. Everyone's a welcome contributor. With all of you doing clinicals this semester, it's going to be so much fun coming together and sharing about your experiences and learning from and with each other. I think that will be a big part. Once you're all settled in the clinicals, that will be a big part of what we do when we come together at the start of each class. We're not on Zoom right now, but there are some protocols. If we are on Zoom, I do ask that you at least turn your camera on when you're speaking. It's a lot easier to speak to your lovely faces than to your names. And then, you know, I've got some other norms there. Is there anything anybody wants to add to our norms about how we should all be together? You can always come back to it. Okay. All right, please do not send me an assignment over email. It's just way too hard for me to keep track of assignments. All assignments have due dates. They're all in D2L. I typically, if there is when there is a due date, I typically leave the folder open an additional week after the due date so you put your assignment in the folder. If you, for any reason, you know in advance, sometimes you don't know in advance. You're going to have to hand something in late, just let me know. Let me know in advance when possible. I know life happens. Life gets in the race. Hopefully you won't have any problems with D2L or other technology. We use Watermark 2, which I'm going to talk about. But if you do, you can contact the help desk. Because, I, unlike many of you, was not born with technology, so I'm very limited. That's when I call my sons up. How do I do this? All right, so let's talk about the clinicals, and we have some questions about the minimum and maximum of hours, counting hours such as lunch and all those kinds of things. So as you said already, it's a 100-hour clinical experience. The course is 50 hours are dedicated to your preschool experience, and 50 hours are dedicated to infant and toddler clinical experience, but it's not really a clinical experience. I think what happened, this is before I started working here, before the pandemic hit 2020, or maybe during, when the pandemic hit, the infant toddler clinical experience was removed from this course, or variation from this course, and it's never been put back in. So we will do a lot of things in class and on your own on those weeks when we don't need to earn your 50 infant toddler hours. If there is something we do in class, like next week, and I know you and I have to connect, if next week we are going to be doing something with the Illinois Early Learning and Development, Early Learning Guidelines, that's infants and toddlers for age 3. We're going to do that in class. And by the time class is over, you're going to earn 3 infant toddler clinical hours. So you'll put that in watermark. I'll talk about watermark. So for infant and toddler hours, I think I have a slide for it. We'll do some things in class, like what I mentioned next week. You'll watch some very brief videos, or like 5-minute videos, infant videos, toddler videos, and then you'll write a reflection paper on those. There are some Gateways online training modules. How many people here are Gateways members? Okay, great. Well, as long as I'm bringing that up, so for our third module, which is in 2 weeks, we are not going to meet. That week, you will be charged with completing some Gateways training modules. In order to access those training modules, you have to be a Gateway member. If you are not a member, I would advise you, and the link is in D2L, this week, sign up. It's free. It just takes a few minutes for you to sign up, because here's why you should do it this week. What happens with Gateways is you sign up, but it could take them 3 days or more, 5, 6, 7 days to activate your membership. Okay, and I've had students that have gotten tripped up with that. So if you're not a member, sign up this week. It won't take you long, and that way by the time you're supposed to do that training, you'll be set up for it. If you are a member, but you haven't accessed your Gateway membership in a long time, I think you can just go on the website. If you don't know your login or your password, you can put it on it. You can always chat with somebody from Gateways. Questions about Gateways? All right, let's keep talking. So for infants and toddlers, there's online trainings. There's some work we're going to do in class. There's some videos, and a couple of other assignments that do add up to 50 hours. Okay. I do have, I'm not going to bring it up today because we have a lot of information today. I have some thoughts and ideas about some alternate assignments to earn those infant toddler. We'll talk about that. All right, so, and I'm going to get into the hours. You can, now that we have our first classes today, now that we have our first class, you can officially begin your clinical experience. Hopefully, you've already been in contact with your cooperating teacher. You know your start date. If you don't know yet, that's okay. It's only week 2. I think because you only have to do 50 hours, I think if you start by week 4, you should be fine. Like start this week or next week, that's great. too. But, you know, that, I think that would be fine. You should be done, the hard deadline is May 12th for you to be done with your clinical. Honestly, I would recommend you plan to be done by the end of April or very beginning of May. Because you will have a schedule. You never know, you might get sick. If the school closes for a snow day and they do a remote day, CPS, I don't know about the other places, but CPS does not allow for students to get up on Zoom, with teachers. So you never know. So I would pad the schedule a little bit so that if anything comes up and you miss a day, you still have some time to make it up. You're supposed to do the hours over the course of the semester. If you look at the student handbook, it states a minimum of 3 hours a day, which I think 3 hours is good. I mean, typically when I have taught this class, students do about one half day a week. Question?
I mean, I'm working.
All right. No, you shouldn't do 8 hours a day or 8 hours a week, and you'll be done too soon. So I would say if you do 3 to 5 hours a week, which translates to about a half day, I think that'll get you through most of the semester. I would, now you work there, so you know, I would look at the calendar. Don't forget CPS has spring break. So they're going to be closed for spring break. They're also closed for holidays, professional development days. So if you're going on Mondays or whatever day, look at their calendar so you can map out, and I'm not to CPS anywhere or any of our students are. So you can map out where you're going to be. I would say the earliest you should be done is mid-April. Around April 5th. That's the earliest you should be done. 8 hours a week is too much. Now, I have had some students who you work there, it's a little bit of a different situation, so you might have a little bit more flexibility. I have had some students that have done a full day for a few weeks or 2 half days for a few weeks, and then they switch to 1 day. As long as it's approved by your cooperating teacher, I'm good with it. Thirdly, you need to know, you cannot go over 50 hours because of liability insurance. You're not covered for over 50 hours. And like I said, you should be done around the middle of April. If you start next week, you just do the math. Start next week, and next week is week 3 here in Northeastern. And if you're doing 3 hours a week, fine, I can't do the math. 3 hours a week. How many weeks is that? But you get my idea. So you should, 8 hours is too much, So yeah, if you're done in 8 weeks, that's too soon. I got a question about lunch. So in childcare stuff,
Because there's also nap time.
nap time does not count. Yeah, nap time, because the kids are sleeping.
Yeah.
So what you're supposed to do, if you look in the student handbook, you're supposed to about 80% of your time be directly with children. Now, if it's 100%, fabulous, but at least 80% directly with children. Not nap time. I got a question about lunch.
So would I count that because I'll be in the
Do
classroom?
you count nap time?
No, not
Lunch?
time for lunch. I'm not sure about the lunch because.
So here's my opinion about lunch. If they eat lunch in their classroom with you and the teacher, I would count lunch.
It's not the little.
If they're going to a cafeteria, like they might be in some of these schools, what do they do at your school? Yeah, then you cannot count that. Okay, but if they're eating lunch in the room and you're sitting with them interacting, you can count lunch.
Okay.
So let's say 80%, you're doing 80% directly with the kids, and you're helping the teacher. Maybe you're helping her set up. Maybe you're helping her do some assessments, or he or her do some assessments. You can count those hours too. Oh, I know. See, this could be true for CPS. I would say it would not be true for the child care program. So sometimes in CPS, the kids have specials where they go to gym or they go to whatever, music or wherever they go to. I am okay if you can go with them. I'm okay with that. You know, if it's a day you're there, if you go with them and you can still be directly engaging with the students. The other alternative is, let's say you're there and the kids go to gym for 20 minutes, but the teacher wants you to help her with something, or decorating the bulletin board or doing something. That's okay too. Count that as long as it's no more than 20% of your time. If you're there a 5-hour day or longer, if you take a break, you can't count those minutes or hours for the break. Other questions about what can count? Yeah.
I don't know if field trips still happen or not, but the state goal to like go down the street.
Oh, yeah.
And be able to go with them because it's outside of the school.
I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I have had students that were at the end of the school year were invited to go on field trips once they were done with their friends. Yeah, awesome, right? That's awesome. Especially when they go to some really good places. Yeah, again, as long as you have the opportunity to directly interact with the students, field trip, gym, whatever it is, you know, if you go outside on the playground, you know, that counts. But you have to directly be with the kids, not at them. Not, no, now. Okay, so it should be 3+ hours a day. I have had students, which is okay with me, where, you know, some schools, some CPS schools have a half day morning preschool and a half day afternoon, and a half day is only 2.5 hours. If that's the case, I don't know that it is for anybody here. That's okay. I mean, you can go for 2.5 hours, or you can go for free and maybe help the teacher. Again, do the prep before or after, those kinds of things. So I have, it's really too soon to be thinking about this, but I've got the dates. So I want to start observations the week of February 24th. So that week and the following week. So basically the first observation will happen before spring break. Which is, oh, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Northeastern spring break is different than CPS.
There's a week before CPS.
What's that?
There's a week before.
It's a week before, thank you, yeah. So it's a week before. And then like Wesley and other places, do they close for spring break? They close. So, yeah, right. All right, so I have had students ask questions about going during Northeastern spring break. I would. Of course, you're going on vacations. You know, I would, it's CPS people, because the following week you will not be able to go because it's CPS spring break. So again, another good reason to look at the school calendar, so map out the time. If you miss your clinical, if you're ever late, just let me know. Just let me know. It's better for you to let me know than for your cooperate. Just let me know. You know, things happen. So just let me know. Or if you're going on Mondays, but one week you need to go on a Tuesday, just let me know. Of course, it's most important that you work it out with your cooperator. You know, you are a guest. You are a visitor in that classroom. You're there for a short period of time. We have to remember that. I do want to talk about the first few weeks, but before I forget, let me talk about dress code. My hope and my goal is dress code is not. A few years ago, I had a student, awesome student, here at Northeastern, who was doing her clinic. And she did a great job. She was a great student. She did a great job at her clinical. I thought she looked professional, even, you know, she wore leggings, you know, she might wear a bigger top, she wasn't wearing a little crop top. And at the very end of the semester, the teacher made a very serious complaint about how she, which made me very unhappy. You know, she waited till the very end And this poor student who was awesome, you know, that was the main focal point at the end of the semester, talking about, you know, disciplining her. Yeah, I know. Because of how she. All right, so here's what I have to say. Now, some of you work in centers, you know, here's a ask if you're not familiar with where you're going to be, ask what the dress code is and look around. Just look to see how people are. You know, I do not expect you to wear your best clothes, especially with preschool. You never know. You're going to get paint on yourself or, you know, all sorts of other things. You know, you might be sitting in the sand or sitting on the ground. Don't wear your best. Find out what the dress code is. So this is not a topic at all because I was very upset for this poor student. Yeah.
So like, we don't have dress code.
That's fine.
So do you care?
No, I don't.
I think I'm not gonna like walk around.
I don't care, as long as it fits in with the culture of where you are, I don't care.
Okay.
You know, unless I think you're wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I mean, wear clothing, you're not gonna be picking kids up because they're preschool. That you can bend down and bend over and sit on the ground if need be. And I said, don't wear your best clothes. I learned a lot of clothes, either from bleach and water solution, right? Or paints or other things that I won't tell you about when children get sick. Right? All right, so dress code, just, you know, non-issue. Let's just not make that an issue, find out. And if that's how it is there, I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly fine with that. All right, so I got a question. All right, so counting hours, got that. What to do? The packet your cooperating teacher gets from Northeastern that you should be giving them states right on the first page of the letter, you are not supposed to be observing. You're supposed to be actively involved as much as possible. Again, large group, small group, individual children. Any experience you can have will be great. The first week or two, check with your cooperating teacher again. You're the guest in there. If it were me, I would make a goal to learn the names of all children and observe the route. That's what I would do the first couple of weeks. Doesn't mean I wouldn't talk to anybody. I mean, if you're there in the morning when children are arriving, read them, you know, and ask your cooperating teacher. I hope you will have more experience, again, large group, small group, individual children, more experience teaching and interacting with children beyond those two required lessons. Because the more, you know, like what you were talking about before, the more experience you have, the better, the better. And again, you have all this knowledge in your head, now you're going to put it into practice. And often, which is perfectly fine and perfectly typical, students will say, I had my lesson plan all planned out. I knew exactly what I was going to do, and it didn't work like that. That's preschool. That's preschool. Right. That's right. And you know, I come from preschool. Okay, I come from infant, toddlers, and preschoolers. I know what it's like to have an awesome art project that I plan that nobody wants to do. Okay. I know what it's like when I'm trying to do a large group time and these kids really just need to move and have activity. I've been in a lot of situations, so I'm not expecting to see perfect little children sitting. If I did, I would think something's wrong. I would think something's wrong. So I am, you know, I come from the field. I've seen the best. I don't know if I haven't seen the worst, but I've seen pretty bad. And, you know, what's really important is, as you will learn with experience, you have a plan, you have your intention, and you have to be very flexible. You know, again, I might have this large group plan, which I think is terrific, but these kids cannot stay still. I'm gonna throw my plan out the window, and, you know, in my pocket, I would say in your toolbox, have your plan A, your plan B, and sometimes your plan C. And instead of reading this great book and talking about it, we might do a musical minute. Or maybe we're just gonna go out on play. because the kids are bouncing off, especially in the winter. Right? Because these kids are bouncing off the walls because they're not able to get that physical activity that they typically get. Okay, all right, so I said the first observation will take place before northeastern spring break, and the second one, I'm just gonna say will take place in April. Okay. So, let me know when you fill that schedule out, you're gonna have to put on there your projected last day. So if your projected last day is April 15th, we'll have to do it now, but probably sooner than later, we'll plan, when I'm gonna do that. Sometimes I've done it on the last day. It just depends, but I'm flexible. with that. But other questions about the clinical? Yes, we plan it together. I know surprise. We plan it together, and of course you check with your teacher. Ideally, well, we expect your teacher to be there too. Sometimes teachers are sick. Something comes up unexpected. But yes, we plan it together. I will not surprise you. How many hours? By then? Well, let's see. I would like, I would like, especially for those of you who are new to places, some of you are not new to places. But next to you first. I would like each of you who are new to a place to be there probably about 4 weeks, 4 times before I come out for a lesson. I'd like for you to be, maybe more. I would like for you to be able to form relationships with the children. I'd like for you to be able to know their names, know the routines of the room. So if you start next week, maybe I'll come out, maybe the week of the 24th, the week of March 3rd. When is northeastern spring? Oh, spring break here is not until the 17th. So we've got 2 weeks in March too. I also observe practice students both in college, so I'm big, I understand if something has to change, and I promise you I will be as flexible as I can be. But I do get, once the observation, and I do get in the face. But things happen, I get that. So I would say if you're gonna be there 4 times, maybe more before I come out. I mean, how does that feel? Feels all right? Right. And if you need me to come on a little bit later, but the first one does have to be before Northeast. Ask your teacher what she or he wants you to do. That's it, and hopefully, some teachers really come up with ways for students to jump right in and do things. Other teachers might need a little focusing on that. Oh, the other thing, and I'm going, now that we all are meeting today, I will email your teachers tomorrow. I'll just send a welcome email. Some of the teachers, like Heather, and I think some of the teachers I've worked with before, but I will email them tomorrow. I am also going to offer all the teachers to have a brief Zoom meeting with, you and me and the teacher at a time that works for all of us. Some of the teachers, Heather won't. Some of the teachers won't be there. Some of them want. Kathleen Kelly. But I'm happy to do it. Yeah, but just to answer any questions, and that would be where I will also emphasize to your teachers, hey, let them jump in, take some initiative, ask questions. And I get it. When you're first there, you don't know the routine, you don't know the teacher, so just ask permission. Other questions about that? Or our lesson plans, number 2 first, or you should have them done a week before the observation. Have your cooperating teacher review it. Often they're like, yeah, that's great. Sometimes they want to make some changes. Technically, you should get it to me I think 48 hours before, you can email it to me. If you want to do it before then, and if you want some feedback from me, that's fine. I mean, I'm not gonna look at the lesson plan 1 or 2 days before your lesson and say, oh, wait, change everything. I'm not gonna do that. But I might make some suggestions to make it more interactive. So, and if you want me to look at it before, that's fine. And give you some feedback, that's fine, yeah.
For the infant and the toddler lesson plan, is it okay to use the modified template?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes, you will use the modified template for, yes, I could, yeah, that would be torturous using the other one. Other questions? Here's a question that I get, I mean, you know, we're only here the first day, we have time, we'll be together a couple more times before I do. Students have asked me, how long should your lesson be? These are preschoolers. You might be, I typically suggest you do one large group, which could be a read aloud and discussion, and then you do a small group. The other time, I think it's good practice to do both of those. These are preschoolers, so probably the lesson is 15 to 20 minutes long. Thoughts about that? I have done observations where students have done small group activities where they're at a table with 2, 3, or 4 children, and they rotate the kids to the table, which sometimes could take an hour, you know, to rotate through all the children. And it just depends on if I'm doing other observations that day or whatever. If you do that, I will likely want to watch at least 2 rotations, 2 groups of children. And if I can't stay for the whole thing, I'll let you know in advance, hopefully, and then we can meet. I like to meet you to reflect and through the demonstration. 15, 20 minutes. You know. All right, so those are the preschool lesson plans. There is I believe, are you familiar with the Goodwin College of Education lesson plan template? Yeah. So we typically use that for the preschool lessons. Although Dr. Maldonado just sent me some modified version, she hasn't had a look at it. We will do that. My guess is I will. That's my guess. All right, so for the infant toddler clinical piece, those 50 hours, one thing you will do with a partner, it could be 2, it could be 3, but it wouldn't be a net. Well, there's an odd number of students in here. 2 or 3 students to a group. You will write an infant lesson plan. You will write a toddler lesson plan. I give you time in class to work on that. You might have to you probably will have to spend a little bit of time outside of class. Your prep. It is a very modified form, the infant toddler lesson plan, because I don't, the other one is appropriate for toddlers. And you'll present it in class. I have in my office here, maybe I'll take pictures of it. I have some toys, different things in my office. You should not have to go out and buy anything. You don't have to spend your own money. You don't have to bring the supplies in. If you have the supplies and you want to bring them in, great. If you want to borrow something from my office, you can borrow something from my office. But we'll do the infant lesson plan first in a few weeks. And that would be, when I say infant, let's say 6 months to up to 18 months. So a younger infant or an older infant, that's 1 lesson plan with a partner or partners. And then the toddler lesson plan could be for older toddlers, which to me is 24 to 36 months. Younger toddlers, 24 or but we'll do that in class. It is a modified lesson plan template. You don't have to bring in any materials if you have a break, you know. And here's what we do. It's kind of weird and tricky because I could never figure it out. There was a time, I saw this my 6th year here, where I have had students do the infant lesson plan as if they're doing something with it. like this, which is really kind of weird to do. Right, right, it's kind of weird to do it with a bunch of adults. I have had a class or two where the toddler lesson plan where a couple of students wanted to be toddlers. They really did. And students, did it with that and the rest of us. It's just weird. It's just weird. So if you want to do that, if your imagination is that good, pretend you're with an infant, that's fabulous. But when it's time to present the lesson, you'll just kind of describe it to the rest of us. And perhaps I will, more than perhaps, I will ask you to share with us one example, something you would say with that. Because it's just, that's way too much pretend. I mean, what do you think? How do you feel about it? You try.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What?
In the class that we took.
Where you had to pretend?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We are supposed.
Yeah, but just to with kids and
Of course it is. Of course it is.
For
Yeah,
sure,
but
but
I get, the idea of practicing is you are with a safe group of people, that you can trust. And you got to practice with all that. But, maybe if it was a preschool lesson, I would have you do it, but for infants and toddlers.
I mean, it's easier to write
Of course.
with this in front of.
Right. Right. So you're going to write 4 lesson plans total in the semester. The 2 preschool ones that we talked about that I will be observing at a mutually agreed upon date and time. And then the infant and toddler ones, which you'll work on them partly in class and then partly outside of class. I will ask you probably next week. If you have any requests of people you want to work with, you can email me. Or any other requests about the infant and toddler lesson plan presentation, you can email me and I will work to. Questions about the lesson plan. So let me look, you have time, for the preschool. Let me look at what Dr. Maldonado said, but I think I would like to use. Yeah, and hers has some backwards design, which I really like. Cross everything. All right, so clinical expectations. So there is the packet D2L. I don't know if you receive it from the CEST office too, but it is in D2L. I think it's under clinical experience. You should be giving a part of the packet to your cooperating teacher, and it shows you which part. In the packet, there is a clinical schedule and a clinical site information form. Your schedule, you need to figure out your schedule with your CT. Your CT is cooperating teacher. And I believe the college put a due date, I think the week of February 10th. So at your schedule, once you're there, you have a few weeks and you get your schedule set. You sign it, your CT signs it, and then you give it to me to sign it. Once everybody signs it, it goes in watermark, and there is a watermark. All right, I'll talk about what. And it should also go into B2L, the clinical, like in the assignments. I also ask, please, it's really helpful to me to fill out the clinical site information form and put that in B2L too, so I know where I'm going. So I know what class I'm going to, where I should park my car, where I should not park my car. All those kinds of details. I think your phone number goes on there too, because I have to get in touch with you. So you'll get those in the next few weeks. The pre-CPAS, we'll look at that a little bit in the upcoming weeks. Well, let me talk about Watermark. So Watermark is the platform. Somebody who emailed me and said they tried to go into Watermark, but somebody in this group and they couldn't get in. No, maybe it was my other group. So you should be able in D2L, I think in the content section, I think it's called, what is it called? Clinical experience, maybe? And you click on that, and there should be a link to the link. GCOE clinical. Go there, if you're, click on 325. And hopefully we'll get you right. Yeah. There's password. Yeah. You see it? All right, so, yeah, everybody can look, if you can't, if you don't see it, I'll have to go online. and see if there's that. You still have to. Oh, yeah. All right, so Watermark is the platform where you will enter your hours. So for example, next week, when we do the infant toddler, really learning guidelines in class, you're going to submit 3 hours to me. It will be the choice of who you send the hours to for approval. It will be either me or your cooperating. So send that to me. What I suggest every week, after you do your preschool clinical, you should enter your hours. Your cooperating teachers, it's okay if they don't approve every week, but every few weeks they should approve them because the college does look and track how people's hours are going. So you will likely have to remind your teacher to. And so are people looking? Are you in Watermark? Or do you see this class? I think it's a GCOE clinical in content.
Oh, yeah, that's. Yeah, one is great.
Okay, this class where you have to find
On the class, yeah, you're on.
Okay, but just seeing that for you. All right.
I see it.
So, I'll have to look and see if you're online.
No.
All right, so what you will do in Watermark, and there is a guide, the guides are also my D2L. I'm just writing myself a note. You will enter your hours every week. You'll upload your clinical science schedule. And at the end of the semester, your cooperating teacher and I will both fill out that pre-CPAS evaluation. And you'll have to review those and acknowledge those. We're also doing this pilot of this educator disposition assessment. We will also do that. Don't worry about that. We've got many weeks. I would follow the guide. I think where some students got tripped up in Watermark, I can't remember the steps by heart, but they enter the hours, give a very brief description. You don't need a long description, a very brief description. And then I think in the upper right corner, I think it says submit or save or something. Sometimes students enter the hours, but they forget to hit that last button. And then they don't show. Now what happens is once you submit the hours to me, I will get an email. And I just click on it and I put in your hours. You know, if there's anything wrong, I'll reject them, but I'll say why. When you might send me preschool ones when I should get it. Your cooperating teacher, I think today should have gotten an email from the university with their link to water. And have to keep that, right, I tell them that, it's the only way they can work. We'll figure it out. But yeah, you should, next week, when we're in class, I think at the end of class, I'll give everybody a few minutes to enter the 3 hours for make sure you get it. So you should enter your hours every week. And And your CT, if they approve them every few weeks, I think that's okay. But you're probably going to. So, yeah. But, you know, they're busy. They're busy people. All right. Well, so there is a guide and watermark for you. For students, there's also a guide and watermark for your cooperating teachers. Maybe you know what, I think I'll send it. Questions? How's everybody doing? Okay, anyone with the strength or anything? Yeah. As of today, she should have done. Yeah. And sometimes, they get the email, you know, it goes to their junk. So if they didn't get it, you know, they should look there. Yeah, but that's for your teacher. So, questions? How we feeling? Okay. How we feeling? I meant to ask you how you were feeling before we started. And now. Uh, oh, the other thing I wanted to say, just about safety. This is January, a lot of illness month. A lot of preschoolers, they've been practicing, I'm sure with their teachers, they don't always know how to talk or sneeze into their arm when they're touching it. Last semester, it was December, but I was somewhere. I happened to be at one place twice in a week. So many children and staff were sick. They actually, I've never seen this before, it's a child care center. They actually closed for a day because they didn't have enough staff to work because they were sick. I was sick, wasn't deathly sick, but I was sick for over 3 weeks. So I might be wearing a mask when I go, you know, and you know, do what you're comfortable with. And, you know, I've seen plenty of teachers wear masks, or when bugs are going around, they'll wear it. So take care of yourselves. And the best thing you can do is wash your hands, wash them properly, touch your face. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff, I'm sure you've heard about it. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, a lot of different viruses. And, you know, and I know so many people that have been sick lately, and they've gone to the doctor because they were so sick. And the doctor's like, oh, it's just a virus. Which is what I. So, yeah. So take care of yourself. And if you want to wear a mask, and if not, you know, have one hand, because you might go in there one day and hear a lot of coughing. There was a horrible cough. That's what we all had. It's horrible. Take care of yourself. Get enough sleep. Rest. Eat right, so I sound like your mother. You should have never gone on. I have a cabinet with all that. I have a cabinet with all my airborne and emergency and all that stuff. So anyway, so there is a guide in Watermark, excuse me, in D2L for Watermark. And when we're here next week, I'll protect some time. Before we go. And like I said, I will, and the guides are there. There's a guide and there's a video tutorial. If you prefer to watch a video or reading instructions. Okay. Questions? Yeah.
I'm assuming like my first name is,
Oh.
or it depends on.
That's a good question. It's a really good question. Depends on the school. I come from childcare for most 18 years of my career. Kids and everybody just called me baby. And then I worked somewhere else. And they called everybody by their last name, Mrs. whatever, which I didn't want to do that. So the compromise I had there, I was. And yeah, whatever they do, whatever. So that might be your last name, it might be, your first name. Another one of those cultural. And it depends what you're comfortable with too. If you want them to call you by your last name, ask the teacher. But that's a good question. I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts about that? You are. Yeah. See, and this isn't, I think this is the early childhood covered theme. Especially with young children. I don't think titles are there. That's just me. I think, we earn respect. We can't demand it, but we earn respect through our relationships with other people. And our names are very personal. So, you have to decide what you want. My world, I don't know, maybe my name, you're Mandy, I'm Mindy, I don't know. In my world, I go to the bank and people call me Miss Mindy. So, just maybe that's just, what seems to fit. But yeah, I would find out. Yeah, that's a really good question. Anyone, so you said with the younger kids, are you Miss?
With the younger kids, I'm Miss Justine.
Miss Justine.
Middle school, I have to be Miss Rachel.
This is early, we're warm and fuzzy in our childhood. So yeah, but excellent question, Nancy, because it does boil down to asking. So first day you're there, good question. Find out. Other questions? All right, so major course assignments. My caveat is this is subject to change because I have an idea, but we'll see if I can develop that idea. So, in class, we're not meeting every week. We're meeting basically half the semester. So, be here, be an active participant, and when you all start your clinicals and you're all sharing, it really is a rich conversation and a rich learning experience. So the field hours, we've talked about that. The lesson plans, we've talked about that. There are, over the course of the first half of the semester, there's 4 infant videos and 4 toddler videos for you to watch. I have a lot of videos in D2L, but if there's a video you find that you would prefer watching, just let me know what it is and you reflect on it. So each time there is that assignment, you would watch 1 infant video and reflect half-page reflection, and a toddler 4 times that. So that's a total of 8 videos. There's the online trainings I mentioned. There's 2 sets of gateways trainings. So in 2 weeks, you'll have the first set to do. And it's all in D2L. It's in the schedule and it's in the content as well. And then there are some written assignments to do, a couple of them. And class work that we're going to do in class for you to earn your so they end up. Questions? All right, so for next week, what I'd like you to do, if you haven't done this already, I'd like you to familiarize yourselves with well, what's in there. Take a look at, for our first month, this week I put in here some articles on reflecting. So take a look at those. We'll do a little reflecting practice. So whatever is in there for next week, our module 2, the guidelines, and you don't have to really read, you don't have to read it before that. We're going to work. I would also like you all to bring something back to give the rest of us a glimpse. What? Right now. Yeah. Photographs. It could be a book that you're reading, something, bring something in, something in your bag that you pull out, but bring something in that you would like to share with the rest of us, just to give us a glimpse into your identity. It's one way to build our classroom community, and my belief is in a parallel process. What I mean by that is what we do in class together, what I do with you could possibly be doing. There's that. And again, if you're not a Gateways member, I would do that. Never know how long. So everything is in D2L. The schedule is there. I'm not suggesting to waste paper, but I print the schedule out so I can look at it. But we are together again next week. And then after that, we'll change is online. Question. How are you feeling now? Think about, I didn't ask you at the beginning of class. How are you feeling now compared to how you felt at the beginning? All right, let's try it this way. Scale, okay, all right, thank you. All right, yeah, that's actually good. How are you feeling now? Is it be a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or even a thumbs sideways? Let's see. Okay, that's fair. Okay, all right. And so anything else that I can do? Make you feel 2 thumbs up. Anything else? No. Yeah, I hope they do. Right. So next week, I will put an announcement in D2L to remind you to bring something in to share with the rest of us. We'll start out with that. Of course, any questions that you have. And then we'll take a look at the Illinois Early Learning Guidelines, which are for children birth to age 3. And then we'll talk a little bit about reflecting. We'll watch a brief video so we can practice reflecting. Set you up for it. Hopefully set you up. Yeah. Gateways? Oh, at home. So next week, confusing. Next week is the 3rd week of Northeastern, but our second. So next week is our module 2. The following week, I just have to say it out loud. Right? I just have to say it out loud. The following week will be our module 3, which is, gosh, I can't believe it's going to be February, right? February 10th. Thank you. The week of February 10th will be our module 3. We're not going to meet, and you're doing those online. 7A, 7. Now, for those of you working in centers, you might have done work. You're going to do 7A, 7B, and 7C, and then another week you're going to do 2A, 2B, and 2C. You might have done those trainings already in Gateways for your work. If so, just submit. And I'll remind you every week. So my reminder right now is we are meeting next in person. Yeah, that's a little. And we are, Northeastern is open. And I think we're scheduled to come on President. Northeastern's open. But I would suggest-
February 17th, we are closed.
Yeah, CPS, yeah. And center, yeah, but we're, Northeastern is open. I was actually, I can't remember if we were open last year. I was kind of surprised. So right now, the most important thing for you to do is contact your cooperating teacher, get your start date, get your schedule. And, all right, I'm thinking out loud to get this to, honestly, if you don't have a start date yet, don't feel stressed about that. Start with by week 4 of Northeastern. Yeah, week 4. You'll be fine. Okay. All right, well, thank you all. I have snacks up here if anyone wants a snack for the road. I typically try to bring in something healthy and something else. If there's any allergies or anything. Yeah, keep those, bring it back one more time. And you can test it. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, you got to pay attention to those professional development days and the report are not there. Right, report cards, pickup and conferences, so you need to look at that. All right, I'm here. If anyone needs anything, we need to connect. Do we need to connect? Or did I answer your question? Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and if you are feeling ambitious, I think it's all open in D2L and you wanna start working on some of those trainings ahead of time before you get moved by. Look at my water. I wonder. Oh, trying to think what I think. We'll figure it out. We'll figure tomorrow. Yeah, we'll get that figured out. Just keep track. Okay, thank you, everybody. Nice meeting you. I'm excited to have the semester with all of you. Excited to see you at your clinical. Who has starting dates? Okay, all right. Okay, this week. Fine. Oh, yeah. Now I have like, your fear, like that. Right. And yeah.
Oh, I know, yeah. I know. You want to be here now.
That's fine. Bye bye.
I always answer my eyes. Yeah, mine is.
Okay, all right.
You know, almost. You only have to.
Right. 4 hours. Right. What do you think of that? Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah, yeah, because even to go in for a yeah, I think that's fine. The class, so our class, when you earn infant college hours, like next week, that's when you log in. This, you will, every time you're there, you'll log in. Yeah, but I think if you do Monday and Tuesdays, don't you know, I think you work, you get to know life. And it's pretty good to go 3 days a week. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, I think that.